Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Let me do that right quick. Wow, this is two times in a row. I started a couple of minutes early. I got I got this thing started up a couple of minutes early. Most of y'all know I'm like that last minute guy. That one who just winds up like right at the nick of time, getting in at the last minute, you know. I hope everybody had a great day today. It's been a day. Uh, I'm gonna give everybody a chance, some people a chance to get on. Hopefully, we shared this notice that I was going to be on tonight at 8:30. Shared it out so that others would get on. Um, just to put it shortly, bluntly, Pastor got something to say, and I had something to talk about. Uh, Evening, Lee. How you doing? Miss Mary, Shamiki. Miki, how you doing? I hope all is well with you and baby girl. You know I love you. But yeah, it's been a day. It's been a day. Um, Wes, what's going on? What's going on? Wes, I got people out here telling me, talking about, that we never had no church. Crazy as it sounds, backbiters, bad mouthers, you know. Them boy OJ said, backstabbers. But it is what it is. I see you, Ty. I see you, Taisha. What's going on? Let's set early next week for meeting in the borough. Uh, we definitely need to get off the ground and start going to work. This Strickland thing, man, boy, that's crazy. They done went and got Andy. It's Andy and Andy, huh? Andy Strickland and Andy Savage. Man, two of America's most wanted, then teamed up, for sure. But Strickland Savage got a good track record of getting cops off, by any means necessary. You know, he was representing Mike Slager, you know. But in the officer involved shooting with Denzel Cornell, when they hired him to represent the family, he couldn't help them. Did nothing for them whatsoever. So, I know they say he's a good attorney, a great attorney, but for some reason or other, when it came to the brother getting killed, I don't know. He wasn't successful in court. So we're just going to give it a little while longer, try to let some more folks get on. Ty, I got your message, Ty, about this craziness going on in our communities. I ain't never seen so many children coming up missing. I've never seen that every day timeline flooded with missing children. And there never seems to be much resolution. Thank God last night in downtown Charleston, down the Wilson Street project, there was a happy ending. Two children were missing, and they found both of them. I just happened to be leaving from the Transgender Day of Remembrance, where they remember those who were killed, the transgender women and men who were killed over the years. Yet the remembrance was last night at the Unitarian Church, and I went by there to definitely show my care and my concern with that community. But on the way leaving there, I drove down Logan Street and past the projects, and I see like a line of blue lights flashing. So I stopped, got out, and found out that there were two kids missing. One was 7 years old. I forget how old the other one was, but they were small kids. Fortunately, at the end of that, though, they they were found. They were found. You know. So is my audio good tonight? Is everything all right? Are we working good? are we are we okay? Okay. Just want to make sure before I get going. Eric, what's going on? Aaron, what's going on? Alrighty. Yeah, before I get into this, I'm trying to give a couple of more people a chance to get on here before I actually start. You know. Yeah. But it's been an interesting day. You know, sometimes my day, DJ Cass, what's happening? Jamie, sometimes my day starts. I think some of y'all know because y'all check Facebook regularly. Sometimes y'all see me like in the middle of the night, and I'm like doing something on the book or whatever, you know. So sometimes my sleep habits are a little different these days as the older I get, you know. Sometimes you know, my evening usually ends somewhere around 9:30, so I'm like sleep early. So a lot of times I'll wake up, you know, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, and sometimes I can't go back to sleep. That's what puts me off on the book at those odd hours and carrying on, you know. So last night I woke up right around, I guess, 2:30 or so, going on 3, and I just happened to go to the book, and I happened to see this post on my timeline from Elder Johnson, Elder James Johnson, state president of the National Action Network, and someone who, for years, I've been in the trenches dealing with civil rights for a very long time. I think when it comes to actually taking action in the streets, I think he and I together, there's probably hasn't been as much activity by anybody else in this area in the last 50 years, you know, collectively. But I looked on my timeline and I saw this post that he put there. And I'm going to say that he put there, but someone else made a statement that they believe that his page might have gotten hacked. I don't know. So maybe this was him and maybe it wasn't him. But I know the language is something that I can definitely, having known and interacted with Elder Johnson for years, to me, it sounds like him. Okay? All right. And that's just my personal opinion. It might not be him. So I'm going to leave that door open that this might not be Elder Johnson's work. Okay? But it's sure enough, reading through it sounds a heck of a lot like him. Okay? It's not language that I haven't heard before. So let me read the first post. The first post went like this. It said, and this was about, I'd say probably about 2 o'clock or so when he posted that up. Roy, how you doing? Diane, good to see you all. He wrote, "You know, I had this white guy came to me today and he wanted me to thank Thomas Dixon. He said that he was afraid that it would be the first black mayor in North Charleston, and he just wanted to thank him because he was very afraid that Mayor Summey was going to lose and he would not have a job at North Charleston. And I just want to thank Dixon for giving it back to Mayor Summey. Now all the black community will suffer." I think this is supposed to be, now all the black community will suffer, not talking from the white guy's perspective, supposedly. Now all the black community will suffer. Maybe he should try to run for Chicago mayor. You know, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of folks that ain't got enough business or got too much time on their hands to be focusing on foolishness. The election was 17 days ago. The decisions were made. Since that time, John Singletary has filed his, first off, the protest, which I supported, although I didn't file a protest myself. And then when that protest didn't go through and he filed the appeal, I've also publicly said I support that. Okay? 17 days later, and then a couple of days after the election, came these attacks from Ramon Roan, who works with the Singletary camp. Now, I'm not going to say that John knew anything about any of this. I don't know. And some guy named Precious, Urban Precious Metals, who said I was getting paid by Sami, and Roan put this long, lengthy thing on there about some research he's done on me or whatever. So I've asked Roan, specifically. I think that Precious has blocked me, so I don't see anything else that he's putting up. But Roan, I reached out to him because he's an ordained minister. Is what I understand. My understanding is, and so I had to bring some Bible to him that says in Matthew chapter 18, verse 15, it says, if you got a problem with your brother, then you need to go to him and him alone, one-on-one. That's God's direction for conflict resolution. The first step is to go one-on-one to the person, not come to Facebook, not all. And I never got a call from him saying, hey, can we chat? Let's chop it up about this issue. Okay. So I reached out to him, and I think that we're going to have that one-on-one meeting, although he tried to put some stipulations on it about needed to talk with Reverend McLean and Reverend Bratton and Elder Johnson and all that. So I just sent it back to him saying, that's all well and good, but according to the same verse of scripture that I'm talking about, that's the second step. That's verse 16 in Matthew chapter 18, where it says, if you're after the one-on-one session, that if that brother doesn't hear you, then take it to the elders. Okay, so we must follow God's progression, especially among us the ordained ministers, and as he's called me, a self-proclaimed pastor. Okay, but then came last night this attack. And again, I don't know whether this is Elder Johnson or not. Somebody said his page might be hacked. I don't know. Saying that some white guy came to him and said that, he was glad that I gave Sami the election, basically, because he didn't want to have a black mayor. I don't know if this is Elder Johnson or not again, but this foolishness. This is foolishness, and I don't intend to dwell on this whole thing. I'm going to read the other comment that was made on that page, okay, dealing with people that commented on that comment, people that support me and know the work that I've done and the work that I do and the type of person that I am. People that commented, he had another comment that he made, or whoever did it, they made another comment. I'm going to read that one, but I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm just putting this out as some background, okay? The other post read, and this was not on Johnson's page. They answered this one actually on Shakim's post, because Shakim put a post supporting me and telling him basically move on, man, But he posted this comment there, and I quote, it says, all you Uncle Toms and y'all jailbirds, y'all have hurt the black community by selling drugs to them and being an Uncle Tom. The only thing to whip you is your conscience. Your conscience go get you soup born from your white master, and maybe he'll send you back to prison. Now, I read it as it is. Can I explain everything that was in that makeup? I really can't. But if this is Elder Johnson, this is a very keen insight into the mind of somebody who has portrayed himself as a civil rights leader, somebody who represents the people. And he classified people who it was classified that, people who just happened to not agree with him as Uncle Toms. It's a term that I've heard him use countless times before, referring to people. And then he talked about y'all jailbirds, basically stereotyping those who have been to prison as lost causes under that jailbird thing, Wow, that's kind of deep there. I really, in my heart, hope that this isn't Elder Johnson. But it very well could be. And why do I say that? It could be because when he and I first got together, when the coalition first started, we were together only a few months before we basically had to ask Elder Johnson to remove himself from the coalition, and that's why he's no longer with the coalition. This can be verified by anybody that was with us from the beginning: South Carolina Rhinos, Therese Legree, or D. Jones, or LaCondria Taylor, or any of those, Shamiki, I'm quite sure you remember, who know that these things happened these years ago when the coalition first started together. And that's why it's always been, even though every time I've said anything about the coalition and him, I've always said our coalition co-founder. Always. I've always respected his position. So if this is him, I really don't understand this whole disrespect thing and all of that. It's problematic. And it's problematic in so many different levels. It's problematic because, first off, this craziness is being said, racial bias and everything, and bias against those who have criminal record and all of this, and the Uncle Tom, all of that, name calling and carrying on. That's problematic. If this isn't Elders doing on his own page, I think he needs to check his book and check whoever it is that put this out there, you know. And there are others, I'm sure, who are aware of it. They should be checking him or checking whomever put this out. But there's no check going on. And basically, silence is consent. We ask for the community all the time to get involved when they see trouble or guns or whatever. If you see something, say something. But this post can be put up on this public Facebook page, actually a Facebook page that I actually put up. I started his Facebook page because he didn't have no page. But to put that up there and others who are associated see this and not say anything, that's consent. That's agreement to it. And that's why I really appreciate each and every one who stood up earlier today and got involved and engaged in that. This is the second time that the community had to step up. And I appreciate your stepping up because you wasn't going to let that foolishness ride without saying something. And that's the way community works. We are called to protect one another and not support or condone bad behavior. I'm so proud of everybody for doing just what we are supposed to do, and that's to come together and to stand together and not let foolishness intervene in the things that we need to do. Because right now, all that is a distraction. That was a whole day filled with distractions. It's crazy. We can't be distracted by that. Ain't nobody got time for that. No matter which way we look at it. We still got issues that we got to work on. Any of y'all have been watching what I've been doing since the election? Man, I'm back out here on that grind. Why? Because unless we out here grinding, we accepting what happens. I've been out here, I'm doing research on this gun violence to get up to speed to where we're at right now. I know we're way past last year's numbers. And I'm thinking about just what we can do in between now and the end of the year in order to address that. I don't want to wait all the way up until the anniversary of Odessa Fleming's murder. I don't want to wait all the way up until then, which is it was after Christmas. I'm going to do something before then, because we got to start getting this word out that it's time to stop this craziness for sure. And the chief, I know he's trying to do everything that he can, but we together collectively have got to do some other things to supplement and augment what he's doing in order to try to impact this community when it comes to the gun violence. So I've been back up dealing with this poverty situation. City that's 50% higher than the national average. I'm still out here dealing with Fight for 15. Man, last night, as I said, I was at the memorial for those the transgender members of our community that have been killed. Beginning with Denali Stuckey. and all the rest. It's crazy. In the last year and a half, South Carolina has five transgender women killed. That's crazy. That's crazy. I've been up in the school board. I've been out to Edisto dealing with the educational process. Them trying to close down schools and carrying on. Trying to privatize our schools. Trying to basically segregate or bring that new Jim Crow educational process into our community and basically starve and deprive our children of a quality life that they can have, that a quality education, a public education will afford them. I've been back out here. Talking about accessible housing and transit and flooding and gentrification and all those different things that we have to fight for. Segregation and discrimination. I haven't been as fully engaged as I'm going because I'm sort of warming up. But those of you that know me, those that you've been out, a lot of y'all done seen me out here. Or you done seen my Facebook page. I'm not a politician. Politicians you see every couple of years getting ready for election season. I'm a public servant. And when I didn't win the honor of being able to help our city from the top level in North Charleston, the top seat, and I got up the next day and hadn't won the election, that just told me go back to work. And for those of you that know me know that's exactly what I did. Ain't nobody got time for these distractions. Whoever put those posts up, whoever it was, if it was Elder Johnson or Joe Schmuckatelli, I don't care who it was. We ain't got time for that. We don't have time for that. We got work to do. We got work to do here in North Charleston, in Goose Creek, Somerville, Lincolnville, West Ashley, Wadmalaw, Edisto, Mount Pleasant, Arwindale, McClellanville, Monk's Corner, and Mike, in the borough and in Orangeburg. We got work to do. So we don't need to be getting distracted by this foolishness that whoever it is. Listen, I'm a firm believer in my Creator and the fact that He wrote, vengeance is His, He will repay. So whoever wrote that, whoever it was, God gonna take care of him. Trust me. He ain't brought me this far to leave me. And there are those that want to use the scripture about touch my anointed. I don't like to go that far. I don't know about the anointed, but I know one thing. I believe in God. I have faith in His word. And I do believe that the work that we're talking about doing is the work that will honor Him and what He wants to do. Not this gossiping and carrying on all that foolishness. Nobody got time for that. We got people dying in the streets. Man, the murders recently have been crazy. The near abductions, these vans and carrying on. People looking out for vans and carrying on right now. Oh, and you better believe you better lock up your stuff right now because Christmas season is on us. The thieves, they going to be out. They're going to be out. You know, I meant to say something. When I talked about discrimination and segregation, you know what's unique as far as North Charleston, and I believe the city of Charleston too, in this whole area, you know, we don't even have a Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, street, or boulevard here. That just shows you how much they care, for sure. As far as I know, that King Street, that's this British dude. That's not the African American civil rights leader Martin Luther King. Okay. I think that's something that that's a sign of what we're up against here. So, in this whole battle, though, and I got to move on with it, this whole battle, this whole struggle, that whole conversation that came out of an election 17 days ago, that neither myself or the other opponent won, and even if we combined all of our votes together, we still didn't beat the incumbent. There was not enough votes to beat the incumbent. I think really, though, the other side, I think they thought that if I was not in the race that I would be supporting that other opponent. unfortunately, I support people whose values and morals kind of match mine a bit, and we ain't on the same page. So I wouldn't have been supporting him. No, I wouldn't have been supporting anybody in this race. That's for sure. If I wasn't in the race, let each man decide in his own mind who they were going to support. Okay, that's not on me to determine. But I wasn't getting ready to drive any votes anywhere. So if there was a problem, well, so be it. But where we're at right now, as far as the issues that we face, the civil rights issues, and the things that we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted from, right now there are people here who are keeping us away from actually addressing these issues. I call them gatekeepers, okay? A lot of the fault that we see in the issues that we have right now are based on the gatekeepers. Old school civil rights advocates who continue to hold on to the title but haven't put in real work in a very long time. They're the ones that's pulling the strings and giving people this false sense of hope instead of empowering and strengthening a younger generation in order to be the leaders of the new school out here. Yeah, I'm 67 years old, but I'm trying to let you know that I'm looking for young leaders, new leaders, to step up to the plate, that I can give a little bit of advice along the way, shed some wisdom along the way about direction, but really those that I can believe I can turn this thing over to, because it's your time. It's not my time. It's my time to help and to make sure that when I leave here, there are leaders in place who are ready to not only take up the mantle, but already have young people that have been vetted for public service as elected officials. Young people who are leading in the educational process, not just Facebook ninja warriors, not just having these conversations, no, but actually forming together and strategizing on how we are effectively going to deal with education and gun violence and poverty and gentrification and flooding and transit and all these things. If we don't set up a younger generation, the 18 to 40-year-olds, and empower them to be successful, we've basically let our next generations down. So we got these gatekeepers that these community leaders, well respected, and I can't take anything from them and what they built over the years, 50, 40, 30 years ago, even 20 years ago. But there's been no accomplishments for the last 2 decades, because when that other system, those that are in charge of that other system, when they want to put a halt to any movement we have, guess who they go to? They go to the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers keep the community in line. Okay. And when I say keep in line, I'm not talking about any of that radical stuff about, tearing up and burning down and all of this here. No, I'm just talking about in common sense, tactical, civil rights progress, making progress in the field for all of the different areas where we have problems at. We can't continue to allow our younger generation to be blocked from moving us forward. If those older civil rights workers, and I got to give them their props, if they were being effective, we would not be fighting these issues that we're fighting right now. Our school system would not be in a shambles right now, because they would have been consistently fighting that for the last 20 years, so it wouldn't be in this condition right now. Gentrification would have been addressed a long time ago. A long time ago. Mobilizing of our community would have been a reality instead of being a ball that my generation dropped. Yeah, I take the blame too. But somewhere along the way, I woke up. I wish the others would wake up too. because it's time for us to groom you all to take over. And I know on this feed right now, there's a whole new generation of new jack leaders that the community is waiting on. I know y'all there. I talk to you. I talk to y'all regularly. Because I know that I'm not trying to get followers out here. I don't need followers. Great leaders don't make followers. They make more leaders. So I'm interested in making leaders. Straight up. It's time for a change. It's time for the 18 to 40-year-olds to take control of our community. And I'm here to do everything that I can to ensure that those who are ready to move forward can move forward effectively. Those who feel that at some point in the future they want to step up, that they can be groomed also in the right ways to move forward. And when I say right ways, I'm not talking about, we got to stop you from doing this or stop you from doing that. No. But there's some tactical things that comes with age, with a little wisdom. There's some tactical things that you can learn. I learn a lot from my younger friends, a lot, because I listen a lot. And so I never stop and think that I know it all. So I'm always listening. But the opposite of that also works. Everybody's got to listen to one another, because we can learn a lot and move a lot forward from each other. It's time for a change, folks. Me and the younger generation, it's one of the reasons why I've decided to move the coalition forward. Okay, I've talked about it already. I've done the research. I've got some of the paperwork almost completed in order to incorporate. Now, this coalition, okay, it originally started out as the old school, new school coalition, because there was myself, the gray-haired old guy, and another old guy that I talked about earlier. And then there were the car clubs, the younger groups out, that merged together to form this organization. Because we need to work together in order to make this happen. Senator, how you doing? To make this work together, we have got to work, older folks with younger folks with older folks, in order to make this happen. So as we're moving forward with the coalition, we're going to be bringing in people to the table. I'll have to set up a board, and that board will be diverse. I'm going to be looking for those community members, your folks who are already putting in good work in mentoring, folks that are already out here in the fight for 15, folks who are active within the transit system, for all the different areas that we have, our gun violence prevention younger generation. Low Country Students for Political Action, y'all hear me? To bring to the table real stakeholders, and not to restrict them according to age or ethnicity, or just say this is a black thing. I don't do that. This is a people thing. And I want everybody to understand that everything that the coalition will do is a people thing. We don't segregate, we empower. We don't become the people or the organizations that we have issues with. No, we stand apart and we fight in order to make sure that the rights of everyone are protected. Everyone. So, as I move forward, as I get the information together more, I'll be putting more information out about how to plug in. I'm going to need just some simple things. Your name, your email address, cell phone. That's going to be probably about the most that I'm going to really need. So I can make a spreadsheet out in order to reach out to people regularly. Then I'll let everybody know about what we're going to do. But the one thing I'll just tell everybody, we don't need in-name only activists. We don't need anybody that, I'm a member of the coalition and you never out there in the streets doing anything. Nope. I'd rather not have anybody in the organization than a bunch of people who say they are something and not doing anything. That's just me. that offends you, I'm sorry. But there are people's lives that are at stake. There are people who are out here, many people who have lost loved ones to gun violence, who, had we moved on this gun violence issue a long time ago, we would not be in the condition. I wouldn't have had to stand with people, so many people. Side note, I even stood with Elder Johnson when his grandson was murdered. But we, with the right people, with the right movement, we can still move $15 an hour. We can still make sure that there's accessible housing for everybody, and that our veterans and our homeless and our seniors are all being taken care of. With the right strategy, we can do this. And that's what the coalition is going to do. We're going to put this strategy in motion. And we're going to encourage everybody that's a part of the coalition to put your boots on the ground and not just talk about it, but you got to be about it. Anybody don't want to be about it, well, sign up and we don't ever see you. You get a call. Trust me. You get a call with the option, you either in it to win it or don't flash. Don't flash, When it comes to working along with law enforcement, I see my good friend Chip Searson on. That's what we do. That's what we do. We're not here to make a bad apple the whole department, the whole tree. No. But we're also here to straighten out some issues that need to be straightened out. And collaboratively, working together, we can do that. We can strengthen our community in every aspect where it's not strengthened at now. And what's the fundamental cement and the glue that makes that happen? It's the fact that we love one another and we respect one another. And we never, ever stoop to this. Never. Ain't nobody got time for that. We don't have time for those distractions. So I hope that everybody that came on tonight got a chance to understand what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from. I know there are those who are probably going to be a bit disappointed that I didn't just feed off of that gossip and foolishness there. But even with that, ain't nobody got time for that. It's time for us to come up, people, collectively. If not us, who? If not now, when? That's the question we all should go to sleep with tonight. And get up tomorrow and say, okay, we are the ones and now's the time to make that change. To make sure that our children get a quality public education, not privatized and farmed out to the prison system or back to the rice and cotton fields. The new age rice and cotton fields. That we don't have to worry when we go to the mall or the church or to a movie theater or about gunfire. These are things that we can fix if we work together. There's a verse of the Bible, and y'all forgive me, I'm Pastor Dixon. I'm going to talk a little Bible every now and then. For those who might not, agree, well, to each his reach. But I don't copy any mind to have. To each his own. But there's a verse in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. And it talks about if you really want to learn about how to get something done, look at how the ants work together. Look at how the ants work together. Some of you have heard me say it before. Y'all know about ants? Them ant piles out there. You ever stepped in one? And didn't know it? Didn't know you had stepped in one? But, just one ant comes out after you, right? Yeah, just that one little lone ant come out after you when you step in that pile. Well, I don't know what kind of ant pile you ever stepped in. But every last one of them I ever put my foot in, drove through with my car, every last ant that's available comes out to protect that hive. That's unity. That's the power of collectiveness. That's a group of animals that understand that I'm only as good as we are together. And until we get that way and realize that our community is being threatened by those who distribute guns, those who distribute drugs, by an educational system that's trying to privatize us, by those who are gentrifying us out of our property and moving us wherever they might want us to live, those who are denying us transit and safe streets. The list goes on and on. We have to understand that they are the shoe that stepped in the community anthill, and we are the ants that are going to turn this thing around. Rush them. Rush them. Not physically, not in violence or anything like that, but collectively. We are stronger together. So with that, I'm going to leave everybody. Like I said, I know this wasn't a highly charged conversation tonight, and I intentionally didn't want it to be highly charged because it's time to diffuse what happened earlier today. You see, we're grown, we're adults. This was juvenile. This was juvenile. And if a 60-plus person initiated this, y'all pray for them, please. Because we ain't never going to get anywhere with folks leading the charge in this manner. We're going to stay stuck just where we are. Folks going to keep dying and keep not getting paid, and our children going to keep going to prison or to the cemetery. And I just pray once again as I close that this was a hack on Elder Johnson's page and that this did not originate from him. I will live my life trying my best not to have animosity against anybody. But I'm not going to let anybody deter what we need to do for our community. I hope y'all with me. And no matter who says what tomorrow, we still gonna fight. Because if we don't, ain't nothing gonna change. Each one of you on this feed right now, every last one of you, everywhere from Sumter to all of the other locations that's in here, Walterboro that's on board, and everything. Every last one of you that's on this live feed right now, you are the change that we are waiting on. Are y'all ready? Are y'all with me? I will fight until I don't have any breath left to make sure that the world is made better. And all I'm just asking is somebody to fight along with me. Listen, y'all take care. I love y'all. Y'all hit a brother up, inbox me or something, give me a shout out, just to say what's going on. Pastor Dixon ain't always feeling good, but like somebody said, don't get discouraged. I had to reply back, discouraged, no. Disheartened, yes, but discouraged, no, not never. Because the fight has got to be fought and the victory has got to be won. Y'all take care. I love each and every one of y'all. Now let's get together and start doing this thing. There'll be more information coming along about the coalition and its organizing efforts very soon. So get ready. Get ready. Make up your minds right now. Pray over it for those who pray. Roll the dice for those of y'all that roll the dice. But whatever come up, get ready. We're going to need people. This is not going to be an organization where 10 people show up for stuff. We need people. We need enough people that if we got something going on wherever, we say we need 100 people in the streets, 100 people be in the streets, 150 people be in the streets. It's time for change. It's time for the ants to gather together. Y'all with me? Y'all take care. Man, I love y'all. Have a wonderful day. If you need me, holler at your boy. Take care. Peace.